Hello. So this is my Oscar Schmidt Silvertone branded Guitaro Autoharp. The Silvertone brand, you can see right there, Silvertone Guitaro. Silvertone was Sears, Roebuck and Company's house brand. So there's a bunch of instruments out there of varying qualities and types, all branded Silvertone. I have a Silvertone slide guitar that is gorgeous and wonderful, and I love it. But the interesting thing about Silvertone is they were all made by different companies. So this was actually made, I understand, by Oscar Schmidt, and if that's not correct, I hope somebody will correct me. So this is the Guitaro. I believe that the Guitaro was made also not Silvertone branded. That was that they weren't all made as Silvertone. The Guitaro is an auto harp that's designed to be played more like a guitar. So for people like me who took up auto harp because they could never get their left hands to work on a guitar properly, it's sort of an ideal idea, because you play it in this sort of guitar-like fashion. Um, it if you actually want to be able to work the buttons well and not just sort of like look like you're playing guitar, you still have to sort of get your hand around it. Um, but I think the idea was to make playing the auto harp seem a little less weird. That's what I think. Um, Compared to a regular auto harp, it has fewer strings. It's got 24 strings rather than the typical 36 or 37. The upshot of that is that the chord bars are shorter, which means that if you are having a custom chord bar set made, it will cost you more. And that's the only benefit, as far as I can tell, to having shorter chord bars is that they cost more. An interesting thing about this model in particular, this is, as far as I can tell, an older, like one of the early models, because it has the buttons here at the bottom rather than in the middle like a standard auto harp, which is what they moved to later. There's a very interesting, I think, sort of ingenious scissor mechanism. I don't know how easy that is to see, but essentially the wood part of the chord bar is cut at an angle, and then underneath that is a metal flat chord bar. So it works like a lever, with the fulcrum being the opposite end, as opposed to a typical auto harp where the buttons are just in the center. In later models of the Guitaro, they moved the buttons to the middle, and in the Chromalin, which is RBI's version of the same idea, the buttons are in the middle. So compared to the Chromalin, I prefer the Chromalin to this. This one, I believe the Guitaro came first, and then the RBI said, hey, we should make something like that. And RBI made a much superior instrument. It's sort of weird. There's a body which is painted this really awful sort of greenish beige color. And then there's this sort of, you can kind of see here, this wraparound part. And then you can see it in the back, and then from the side you can see how sort of somewhat unusual this is. I assume, though I'm not going to take this apart, but my guess is that this was done so that they could have a larger cavity, right, so that it would resonate more. But it kind of just feels cheap. It's not. It doesn't feel like a really super solid instrument, and I don't know exactly what it's made of. I mean, obviously it's made of wood, but I doubt it's like standard piano block or something like that. It's much lighter, even though it's larger. It's actually lighter than a standard auto harp, and they're really hard to come by, even though they made them for a while. Um, and what I have heard from people is that they tend to not be in very good shape, which doesn't surprise me. This one is in playable shape at least, and you can sort of just see all the nicks and problems all along it. There's some cracks here right around the tuning pins. Let that focus. The bridge, right, right down here towards the end, is split. And my understanding is not a lot of these survive in playable condition, which now that I have one in my possession does not surprise me even a little bit. I'll play it for you so you can hear it, but generally my impression of this so far is that it's really twangy. It's got an almost banjo-like sound, and that can be good for certain things, but it certainly isn't gonna sort of stand in for rhythm guitar on pop music or something. Some of the felts, I really need to replace the felts, but as I said, I just got this out and wanted to sort of get it. Some of the felts are really cut in, so like it plays like half the notes. But some of them are a little better. But you can hear it's really tinny. It's really... It's got a lot of buzz in it. I don't know if that's coming through at all in the recording. And it's also just really hard because it's playing a lot of the notes. I'm gonna refelt it, and we'll try again on this and see what it sounds like after it's refelted. Also, clearly, right, it just needs... Some of this is buzzing because it's broken. But it's unclear, to me at least, how much of the tinny, buzzy, chintzy sound is because it's sort of old and worn out, and how much of it is sort of germane to the instrument as a whole. I really, really like this shape for an auto harp. I love my Chromalin so much that I'm spending a bunch of money to have new chord bars and new string and custom strings for my particular tuning preferences and all sorts of stuff. Love it. This, not sure I'm going to spend the money on it. It's possible this will become project harp, but I don't know. I'm going to play with it for a little while. I'm going to refelt it and see if I can fix some of the minor issues just with glue and clamps. And honestly, it also really needs to be cleaned and painted because it's ugly as all get out. And I don't think it's going to get any more attractive. I mean, it'll get more attractive if I paint it, but like this, another weird thing about this is this outside, it's got like a hole in it. I mean, it like you could drop stuff in there. I don't know how like clear that is on the. Maybe if I hold it like this, you can sort of see like that it's. Does that make sense? Do you see here? Right there. I'd be curious what this would be like if I could take it all the way apart, but I don't think that's possible without destroying it, which I certainly don't want to do. But there's no way to get into it. There's no sound hole. right? So you can't really like open it up and see. Um, I think it's an instrument with a lot of interesting possibility, but right now it's sort of not amazing. But we'll see, and I will post another video when I get it a little bit cleaned up. But in the meantime, if you have a chance to come across one of these, and it's less than a couple $100, I'd recommend it just for fun. And you could probably sell it to me because I'm highly interested in this sort of thing. But it was not. It was a really good idea, I think, and I think Chromalin did it really well. But I think, I guess Oscar Schmidt who made this. They took this idea and they didn't really take it in a good direction. This is very clearly a sort of a chintzy, mass-produced piece. It does have some interesting character to it. And in the right style of music, if you were playing, I don't know, you could probably make it work. And I'm certainly going to try. But anyway, that's this. That's the Silvertone Guitaro. I don't recommend it as a first Autoharp or even a second one. And if you're thinking, gosh, I really wish I could play guitar, and an Autoharp seems like a better idea because of the left-hand issues, this is not the thing to get. Just learn to play up here on a normal Autoharp and you'll have a better time. But if you're interested in sort of the weird and wacky world of bizarre folk instruments from the 60s, then I highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. And there you go. I hope you enjoy this video. It's really stupid to ask, but please like the video, and if you want more Autoharp content in your life, please subscribe. It makes a big difference if you do those things. Even if you didn't like the video, it's still helpful to press the like button, because it helps get more eyeballs, and somebody might like these videos. Okay, thank you very much.